He ruled everything. Every kingdom bowed to him. Every enemy who ever raised a blade against him ended up dead in the dirt. And when he finally closed his eyes for the last time, betrayed by the very people he built his empire to protect, not a single person cried. That was King Gray, the strongest man alive and the loneliest. But this isn't a story about a king. It's a story about what happens when that same soul opens its eyes again in a world that has never heard his name, in the arms of two parents who are already crying. Because for the first time in 2 lifetimes, someone is happy that he exists. This is Decathan, a continent split between 6 kingdoms, where magic isn't a rumor, it's survival. Where every living person carries something called a mana core, an organ that decides how powerful they'll ever become. Arthur Lewin is born into House Lewin, son of a duke and a duchess who actually want him. No court, no throne, no assassins waiting behind every curtain. Just a mother who sings to him and a father who teaches him to walk. King Gray spent 1 lifetime being feared. Arthur Lewin is about to spend this one being loved, and it terrifies him more than any battlefield ever did. Most children don't remember creating their mana core. Arthur does, because he isn't most children. He carries the mind, the memory, and the ruthless discipline of a man who once commanded armies. While other kids struggle to light a candle with magic, Arthur is quietly reverse engineering the fundamentals of an entire magic system before he's old enough to read. He keeps it hidden, mostly. Then a dragon egg falls into his life and hatches into a tiny, temperamental hatchling named Sylvia, who imprints on him instantly and refuses to leave his side. For the first time in either of his lives, Arthur isn't alone by choice. He's just not alone. Years pass. Arthur grows into a boy who is terrifyingly talented and still doesn't quite know what to do with kindness. Then he meets Tessia Aerolith, an elven princess with a temper as sharp as her magic, who refuses to be intimidated by his reputation. She drags him into friendship whether he wants it or not. At Zyre Academy, Arthur finally has something King Gray never allowed himself: peers, rivals, friends who tease him, a found family built one stubborn relationship at a time. He starts to wonder if maybe this life isn't a second chance at power. Maybe it's a first chance at actually living. Peace on Decathan was always borrowed time. Across the sea, the Alacrian Empire has spent centuries building something monstrous. Soldiers enhanced with corrupted magic. An army with no interest in negotiation, only conquest. Rumors turn into raids. Raids turn into invasions. And Arthur, the boy who spent years pretending he was just another student, starts to feel the old instincts creeping back in. The tactician, the commander, the version of himself he swore this life would never need. Decathan is not ready for what's coming. Arthur isn't sure he's ready either. Not as this version of himself, the one who has people left to lose. War doesn't ask who you love before it takes them. When Alacria's forces break through, it's not soldiers on some distant field who pay first. It's home. Arthur's parents, the 2 people who taught him what it felt like to be wanted, make a choice he never gets a vote in. They stay behind so he can run. King Gray lost armies and never blinked. Arthur Lewin loses his mother and father in a single night, and it breaks something in him that conquering an empire never could. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, the pain isn't about losing power. It's about losing the people who made him want to be good. Grief doesn't make Arthur weaker. It strips away every excuse he had left. He stops hiding what he is, the tactical mind of King Gray and the heart of a boy who was actually loved, fuse into something neither lifetime produced alone. A commander who fights not for a throne, but for the people still standing beside him. Sylvia grows alongside him, no longer a hatchling, but a force in her own right. Tessia refuses to let him carry it all silently. Arthur steps onto the battlefield, not as the loneliest man alive, but as someone with everything to protect, and that changes what he's willing to become to protect it. King Gray conquered a world and died without a single person who truly knew him. Arthur Lewin is given the same power, the same brilliant, dangerous mind. And this time, he has something worth pointing it at. The beginning, after the end, isn't a story about getting a second chance at ruling. It's about getting a second chance at being known, being loved, and choosing every single time to protect that instead of power. Subscribe. Every isekai, every rebirth, every rise. Reborn Recap.